Stephen Curry's wife, Ayesha Curry, and his mom, Sonya Curry, were involved in a tense encounter with French police after the U.S. men's basketball team won gold at the 2024 Paris Olympics.
He can get half a point.
What?
He gets half a point.
What kind of game is this?
A competitive one. All right. What's the first game of yours I went to?
All right, let's dive right into this. Have you ever wondered what happens when the seemingly perfect life of a high-profile celebrity couple begins to crack under the weight of fame, scrutiny, and endless controversies? Well, buckle up because today we're looking at the whirlwind that has engulfed none other than Ayesha Curry and her husband, NBA superstar Steph Curry. From their picture-perfect romance that began in a church youth group to the tumultuous events that have unfolded in recent years, this story has it all: love, ambition, fame, and jaw-dropping challenges that have left fans questioning if the golden couple can hold it together.
A lot of times things are bigger than basketball, so at this point he just wants his teammates to get healthy. So,
Right, yes, right, yeah. Had
Yeah.
a couple of bad injuries there
Yeah.
for sure. Well, it's good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
And you have got this, you love food and all of this kind of
Oh, I
stuff.
love it so
This
much.
is your thing.
To the outside world, Ayesha and Steph Curry have long represented the epitome of success and stability. He's one of the greatest basketball players of all time, leading the Golden State Warriors to multiple championships, while she's a force in her own right, a cookbook author, a culinary entrepreneur, and a woman who has built her own brand outside the shadow of her husband's fame. But what happens when the curtain is pulled back and the reality of their lives is far from the fairy tale we've all been sold? That's exactly what we're digging into today. Let's rewind to where it all started, back in Charlotte, North Carolina in the early 2000s. Ayesha and Steve were just teenagers when their paths first crossed at a local church youth group. Now, doesn't that sound like the beginning of a rom-com? Ayesha, just 14 years old at the time, didn't think much of Steve. He was the cute boy everyone seemed to have a crush on, but to her, he was just another face in the crowd. Little did she know, their story was far from over. Fast forward 5 years, and fate brought them back together in Los Angeles. By now, Ayesha was chasing her dreams of acting and modeling, while Steve was chasing her dreams of acting and modeling, while Steve was rising to fame as a college basketball star.
What's the first thing you started cooking?
Oh my goodness. I think spaghetti, that's like a classic thing, right? That you learn how to make to survive.
Who taught you to make the spaghetti?
Food Network.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes. Other kids were watching cartoons, and I was like falling asleep and waking up to Julia and Emerald and Rachel. So thanks, guys.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. A lot of people say, my grandma or my mom or
I
something.
mean, yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
For you, it was cable.
Yes.
Their first date wasn't what you'd expect for future listers. Forget five-star restaurants or glamorous parties. Ayesha picked Steph up in her old Astra van, and they spent the day exploring Hollywood Boulevard, sipping chai lattes, and visiting Madame Tussauds. Can you imagine? Ayesha admitted she had her reservations about dating an athlete thanks to warnings from her parents about the lifestyle, but Steve was different, kind, humble, and grounded. That's what won her over. Their love story wasn't without its awkward moments, though. Their first kiss, let's just say it didn't go as planned. Steve leaned in mid-conversation, catching Ayesha completely off guard, and she instinctively pulled away. Talk about a rocky start. But as they got to know each other, their connection deepened, and it wasn't long before Ayesha found herself falling hard for the future NBA star. By 2010, Steve was ready to pop the question, and he did it in the most heartfelt way. He proposed in the driveway of Ayesha's parents' home, the very spot where they had shared their first kiss. With her family watching from the window, he got down on one knee and asked her to be his wife. A year later, they tied the knot in the same church where they first met. If that doesn't scream storybook romance, we don't know what does. Their family quickly grew, with their first child, Riley, arriving in 2012, followed by Ryan in 2015 and Cannon in 2018. Each milestone seemed to cement their status as the ultimate power couple.
Who follows basketball knows you're married to Steph Curry.
I am.
And so what's the mood like? Obviously, things did not go as the Warriors hoped they would.
You know what? The mood right now looks like sloping greens and 9 irons and drivers.
I see, it's a golfing type
Yes.
mood.
While Steve was dazzling fans on the court, Ayesha was quietly building her own empire. In 2016, she released her first cookbook, The Seasoned Life, which became an instant bestseller. Not only did she share her love for cooking, but she also launched her own cooking show, opened restaurants, and created a lifestyle brand that reflected her passion for family, food, and home. She wasn't just Steph Curry's wife. She was Ayesha Curry, a name that stood on its own.
The South of France.
Yes.
Is we bougie in here?
No. I love the South of France so much. I like the way the air smells. I love the people. I love the ambiance. I love the beaches. I love the water. I love everything. That's our dog.
He likes Celtic fans too. He wants to go to San Jose. Where you want to go, dog? You want to go to San Jose?
But as her fame grew, so did the pressures of being in the public eye. What was once a relationship built on love and mutual respect began to feel the strain of constant media attention and public expectations. Every move they made was scrutinized, every word dissected. Ayesha, in particular, found herself under the microscope. As someone who valued authenticity, she struggled with the way the media twisted her words and painted her in a light that didn't reflect who she truly was. And then came the challenges. What started as small cracks in their seemingly perfect life soon grew into gaping holes that couldn't be ignored. Both Ayesha and Steph faced legal troubles, public controversies, and relentless rumors that threatened to shake the foundation of their marriage. It wasn't just about keeping up appearances anymore. It was about survival in a world that seemed determined to tear them down.
What non-NBA achievement am I most proud of?
Ooh, what non-NBA achievement are you most proud of? Holy. Being a dad.
So I was gonna say my family.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously the answer. My kids and you are my biggest accomplishment and achievement, and I want to make sure it stays that way.
Ayesha, for her part, faced her share of personal struggles. Being the wife of a world-famous basketball player wasn't easy. The constant attention Steph received, particularly from women, was a source of insecurity for her. She opened up about this during an emotional appearance on Red Table Talk in 2019, admitting that it was tough not to feel like she was fading into the background while her husband was always in the spotlight. Her vulnerability was met with mixed reactions. Some praised her honesty, while others criticized her for being ungrateful. It was a moment that highlighted just how difficult it was for Ayesha to navigate her identity in a world that often reduced her to a supporting role. Despite these challenges, Ayesha continued to push forward with her career. Her brand, Sweet July, became a symbol of her resilience and determination. Through her stores and products, she aimed to create a space that celebrated wellness and empowerment, particularly for women. But even this venture wasn't immune to controversy. The decision to close her Oakland store earlier this year sparked backlash, with some accusing her of abandoning the community that had supported her. Others speculated that the closure was less about safety concerns, as she claimed, and more about financial struggles. Whatever the reason, it was clear that Ayesha's journey as an entrepreneur was far from smooth sailing.
And so it's been this constant reminder for us to communicate with each other and to take a pause and share what we're grateful for. And so it's a reminder to write down something you're grateful for, put it in the jar, and it's there staring at us at all times in the kitchen.
Love that so much.
And so we do that around the table as often as we can, and it's just been great. And now the kids are volunteering themselves to do it.
Nice.
And so it's nice to just, again, take that pause and share a moment of gratitude with each other.
And let's not forget the legal battles that began to pile up. Ayesha found herself in the crosshairs of a lawsuit from Flutie Entertainment, a celebrity branding company that claimed she had breached their contract. The case, which reportedly involved millions of currency units, accused Ayesha of cutting them out of vendors they had helped her build. For someone who had worked so hard to establish her independence and success, this was a harsh blow. It wasn't just about the money. It was about defending her reputation and proving that she could stand on her own 2 feet. As if that weren't enough, Steph's own legal troubles only added fuel to the fire. His involvement with cryptocurrency, particularly as a spokesperson for FTX, landed him in hot water when the company collapsed amidst allegations of fraud. The lawsuits that followed dragged his name through the mud, pulling Ayesha along for the ride. For a couple that had always prided themselves on their integrity and faith, this was a nightmare they never saw coming.
It's this lifelong sport, and
Yes.
it took me a long time to realize that. It's this lifelong sport, so even if I get 1% better every time,
Nice.
it's something that I can continue to work on, and my husband loves it, so I know we always have this activity that we can do together, no matter where we are in the world, and I'm just obsessed, to the point where my algorithms on my Instagram have changed.
Through it all, Ayesha and Steve have tried to maintain a united front. But behind the carefully curated social media posts and public appearances, there's no denying that the challenges they've faced have taken a toll. The question now is, how much more can they endure? Can Ayesha continue to balance the demands of her personal and professional life while standing by her husband through his own battles? And perhaps, most importantly, will their love be enough to weather the storm? Now, let's get to the real meat of the story. The whirlwind of public scrutiny, relentless rumors, and legal chaos that have turned Ayesha and Steph Curry's once glowing public image into a roller coaster of speculation and scandal. If you thought their love story was enough to shield them from the harsh realities of fame, think again. Because no matter how strong you are, being in the public eye 24/7 is a pressure cooker that can break even the toughest.
Our outreach, and it's been really exciting, but there's still so much more work to do.
Wow, it's in the right hands, though. You guys are so awesome. Please keep up the great work, because the kids definitely need that type of support.
Let's start with the whispers. those tiny ripples on social media that quickly turned into tidal waves of controversy. For years, Ayesha and Steve were seen as the golden couple, untouchable and immune to the drama that plagued so many celebrity marriages. But as the spotlight grew brighter, so did the shadows cast by rumors. The first major storm came in the form of cheating allegations. It all started with an Instagram model who claimed to have proof that Steph had been unfaithful. And while no evidence ever surfaced, the damage was already done. Fans and critics alike jumped at the chance to pick apart their marriage, dissecting every public interaction for signs of trouble. Imagine this. Ayesha was pregnant with their third child, a time that should have been filled with joy and anticipation. Instead, she found herself in the middle of a media frenzy, forced to defend her marriage against baseless accusations. Social media exploded with speculation, with some users even suggesting that Steph's squeaky clean image was too good to be true. The timing couldn't have been worse. Ayesha, who had always presented herself as a strong, family-oriented woman, suddenly found her personal life under a microscope. And while the rumors eventually fizzled out, the scars they left behind were undeniable.
It's a lot of money.
These kids that deserve an opportunity to achieve their full potential, especially from the Black and brown community, understanding where kids are falling behind, trying to do our part in a meaningful way.
A quality meal, a safe place to play, and access to books. It's the fact that these are three very simple things in life that like every child should have access to. And so when you're not afforded those things, it's like, how can I even dream?
The Currys are committed.
But that wasn't the end of it. In 2019, during an emotional appearance on Red Table Talk, Ayesha opened up about her insecurities, confessing that she sometimes felt invisible compared to the constant attention Steph received from fans, particularly women. "It's not that I want it," she explained. "It would be nice to know that someone's looking." Her honesty was refreshing, but it also opened the floodgates for criticism. Some accused her of being ungrateful, while others twisted her words to suggest deeper issues in her marriage. The internet, as it so often does, turned a heartfelt moment into a feeding frenzy. And then there was the infamous blonde wig moment. Ayesha, always one to experiment with her style, posted a photo of herself rocking a platinum blonde wig. It was meant to be fun and lighthearted, but the internet had other plans. Some fans mistook her for an entirely different person, sparking jokes and memes that quickly spiral out of control. And of course, conspiracy theories weren't far behind. Is she trying to send a message? People speculated. Is this about the cheating rumors? What should have been a harmless fashion choice became yet another reason for strangers to dissect her life.
The idea of being counted out. I'm curious, in the relationship here, in getting Ayesha, once you guys started dating, were you underrated?
It's a great question. I told her I would be in the area, and she reached out to me, gave me her number, and that's how I remember it.
My number, but you reached out initially. Bottom line.
Just when it seemed like things might settle down, a new and even more outrageous rumor emerged. The idea that Ayesha and Steve were in an open marriage. Let that sink in for a moment. The couple who had built their brand on faith, family, and loyalty was now being accused of living a double life filled with mutual infidelity. Social media ran wild with the theory fueled by anonymous sources and out-of-context quotes. For Ayesha, this was a breaking point. She took to Instagram to shut down the rumors, commenting, "Don't believe everything you read. Do you know how ridiculous that is? Don't disrespect my marriage like that." But even her direct response wasn't enough to silence the chatter. The internet had already made up its mind, and the narrative was out of her control. As all of this unfolded, Ayesha was also grappling with her own legal battles. In 2020, Flutie Entertainment, the celebrity branding company that had helped her transition from food blogger to culinary entrepreneur, filed a lawsuit against her, claiming she owed them millions of currency units. The company alleged that Ayesha had breached their contract by cutting them out of ventures they had worked together to create, including her lifestyle brand and production company. For someone who had worked tirelessly to build her own identity outside of her husband's fame, this lawsuit was more than just a financial burden. It was a direct attack on her credibility.
While it's unclear what exactly went down during the confrontation, Sonya can be heard yelling that someone touched the baby in the middle of the chaos. Ayesha was seen holding her and Stefan's youngest child, Caius, while she held their son, Cannon's hand. A man who came over to translate for the police can then be heard apologizing on behalf of an officer, saying sorry about the baby.
And let's not forget Steve's own legal troubles, which only added fuel to the fire. His involvement with FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange that collapsed amidst allegations of fraud, dragged his name into a storm of lawsuits. As a spokesperson for the company, Steve was accused of misleading the public, even though he was far from the decision-making process. The fallout was massive, with investors losing billions and fingers being pointed in every direction. For Ayesha, standing by her husband during this crisis was a no-brainer, but it also meant putting her own challenges on the back burner. Suddenly, the Currys weren't just dealing with public scrutiny, they were facing legal challenges that could have long-lasting repercussions. And then there was the Paris incident, a moment that seemed to encapsulate the chaos of their lives. During the 2024 Paris Olympics, where Steve had just secured a gold medal with Team USA, a run-in with French police turned what should have been a celebratory moment into a viral controversy. Ayesha, holding her infant son, Kai, was stopped by officers enforcing a security blockade. When one of the officers allegedly touched the baby's head, things escalated quickly. Ayesha's mother-in-law, Sonya Curry, was seen passionately confronting the officers, and the entire exchange was caught on camera. The video spread like wildfire, adding yet another layer of drama to the Currys' already tumultuous year. But perhaps the most symbolic challenge of all was the closure of Ayesha's Sweet July store in Oakland. Launched as a love letter to the city that had embraced her family, the store was meant to represent more than just a business. It was a statement of community and empowerment. So, when Ayesha announced its closure in early 2024, citing safety concerns, the backlash was swift. Some residents questioned whether safety was really the issue, pointing to declining crime rates in the area. Others speculated that the store's struggles were a sign of deeper financial issues. Whatever the reason, the decision marked a significant shift in Ayesha's entrepreneurial journey, leaving fans wondering what the future held for her brand.
We met when we were 14. I moved to the States when I was 14, and he was one of the first people that I met moving here. But we actually did have our first date down the street.
Here in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the most romantic neighborhood in the whole world. It really is. Where was the date?
On Hollywood Boulevard.
That's where we are.
I know. I picked him up in my '98 Astro van.
What?
Through all of this, Ayesha has remained outwardly composed, but there's no denying the toll these challenges have taken on her. The constant scrutiny, the relentless rumors, the legal battles. It's enough to make anyone question whether it's all worth it. And yet, she continues to push forward, balancing her roles as a wife, mother, and entrepreneur with a grace that is nothing short of remarkable. As we wrap up this deep dive into the whirlwind that has engulfed Ayesha and Steve Curry, we can't help but wonder, how much more can their relationship endure under the relentless pressure of fame and public scrutiny? Can their love truly conquer all, or will the constant challenges eventually take their toll? We want to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think about their journey and the controversies they've faced. Until next time, thanks for joining us, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more celebrity gossip and insights